the chairman or vice chairman of MPA, directors from our BICO, that's Mr. Afolabi Ayola, Mr. Eyo Asukwo, the representative of Hyde Energy. I hope Dimeji Edwards is here. They are proud sponsors of the MVP, the blue jacket created by Okunoren. So the order of presentation has been given. The first presentation will be going to the most disciplined player. Then after that, we have the best playing pony. We have the MVP. We do the umpires before we move up to the runners-up and the winners.
No, I've just thought, give me 5 minutes and you can have all the space you want. Yeah.
Mr. President, Mr. Bodima Kojola, can you please lead the dignitaries to the presentation enclosure? I believe both teams are here. So I can see the president is moving into the enclosure for the presentation. Can all our other dignitaries, as I've announced, please move to the presentation enclosure. We are about to start the presentation ceremony. The GM from Moe, Hennessy, I can see Mr. Dimeji Edwards. So Yemi, when you're ready, give me your signal. Are we all set? I can see Lagrima is here, so she's not hanging about. So like I said, the first presentation will be for the most disciplined player. Then we'll move on to the best playing pony, the MVP, the umpires presentation. Then we'll move on to the runners-up and the winners. Yemi, on your signal. Yemi, on your signal. The first presentation will be for the most disciplined player. The first presentation will be for the most disciplined player. So we need the representatives of Brit Homes. That's going to be the first presentation. Mr. Yemi Oreagba, on your signal, please. All right. So I've got the signal, so this presentation ceremony is going to start right now. So the first presentation will go for the most disciplined player, and that is sponsored by Brit Homes. The most disciplined player has been adjudged to be the patron of the Lagos Baby Bear team, Mayowa Ogunisi. Mayowa Ogunisi. And that's the tournament manager himself. So congratulations to Mayowa. All right. The next one. Ready? Congratulations to Mayowa, adjudged to be the most disciplined player in the Abico Low Cup final. All right, the next presentation is for the best playing pony, and she's already in the circle itself. That's Lagrima from the stables of Mr. Olumide Agbola. Round of applause for Lagrima. And the best playing pony is sponsored proudly by Bua. Once again, a round of applause for Lagrima. Fine pony out of the stables of Mr. Olumide Agbola. And the best playing pony is proudly sponsored by Bua. All right. So the next one is a very popular one, the MVP. And the MVP will be adorned in the blue jacket created by Okunoren. And the MVP itself is sponsored by Hide Energy. And that is adjudged to be a very fine player. He has proud parents here. Mr. Dimeji Aluko. Round of applause for Dimeji Aluko. MVP, the finals of the Low Cup, proudly sponsored by Abico. Interestingly, he was a last-minute sub for Olumide Agbola, who is the proud owner of Lagrima, adjudged to be the best playing pony. So next up, we're up. We're going to have presentation to our umpires after this. So our umpires, move to the enclosure, please. Once again, a round of applause to Dimeji Aluko. Yeah, that's a proud father and mother, the proud parents of a fine, fine young man, fine player. The nephew of a great player himself who stopped playing now, Kunle Aluko. So next up, the presentation for our umpires. All right, first up, Mr. Chris Hyde. Round of applause for Chris Hyde. Next up is our one and only Edozie Oluli. Round of applause for Edozie. So next up, we're going to move on to the business end of this presentation. Now we're going to be adjudging presentation now for the runners-up. Commiserations go once again to Lagos Bear, Baby Bear. And we request the company of Mr. Leia Deniji, I hope he's already there, and representatives of Cardinal Stone. So they will be making the presentation for the runners-up. Hey, God. All right, first up, for the runners-up, Mr. Lorenzo Larumba. Round of applause for Lorenzo. Well done, Lorenzo. Next up, Baba Dantata. Round of applause for Baba. Baba Dantata. Like Jamie said, he comes from a long line of very, very fine players, both on the Dangotes, the Dantatas. So he's another fine, fine player. Next up is Mohamed Baba Dangote. Round of applause for Baba Mohamed Dangote. Next up, a judge, the most disciplined player, the tournament manager himself, Mr. Mayowa Ogunisi. Round of applause for Mayowa, please. All right, now for the proud winners of the 2024 local finals, Lagos A plus A1. The first up is Mr. Abdulrahman Mohammed. Round of applause for Abdulrahman. Well, very, very popular figure. He just missed out on MVP. Next up, for somebody who I thought was pretty close to being named MVP, was edged out by the lucky winner. But next up is Aliu Tijani. Round of applause for Aliu Tijani. I thought he was very, very unlucky not to be a judge MVP. He gave Lorenzo a very, very tough match. Next up is the one and only Abba Dantata. Abba Dantata, round of applause for Abba. And the next one up is the duo of Mr. Olumide Agbola and Dimeji Aluko. So both the MVP and the patron. And for the formal cup presentation of the Low Cup, proudly sponsored by Abico 2024 Low Cup, I request again the company of Mr. Olumide Agbola. Round of applause for Olumide. So he will be formally presented with the Low Cup, the 2024 Low Cup, proudly sponsored by Abico. Yeah, that's the Low Cup presented to Olumide Agbola by Mr. Eyo Asukwo. And I can see Mr. Afolabi Ayola from Abico. Once again, our gratitude to Abico for their long-standing support of all things polo, the renewal and upgrading of our infrastructure. So on behalf of the president of the club, we say big thanks to Abico PLC. So once again, many thanks to our VIPs that accompanied the president and the captain of the club. I see Mr. Dimeji Edwards, the vice chair of MPA, the representative of Brit Homes, the GM Mwe Hennessy, the two directors from Abiko, Mr. Eyo Asukwo, Mr. Afolabi Ayola, and Mr. Alminos. We thank you very much. No. So you can stay here now. So what's the announcement?
So we're doing a rapid draw. That's the first runner up goes with 100,000 airtime, and the second runner up goes with Cat 6 device.
Cat 6.
Yes, our net
Router.
Router Cat 6. So I'll give him the raffle, the book. So they're going to do raffle draw here. Announce the winner. The winner will come in.
Have they bought raffle? Have they bought?
Yeah, those people that bought yesterday on Friday and Saturday.
So on the conclusion of this, MTN have some goodies to give away. There's a raffle draw that's going to be done. They've got airtime worth 100,000 naira. There's a Cat 6 Wi-Fi router for the second runners up. And what's the main prize?
The 100,000 airtime.
All right. So they're just two. The router and 100,000. All right. So very shortly, those of you that bought a raffle ticket from the MTN folks, very shortly we're going to do a draw. The lucky winner gets 100,000 worth of airtime, courtesy of MTN, and the runners-up gets a Cat 6 Wi-Fi router, all courtesy of MTN. So if you bought a ticket, a raffle ticket, you want to get your ears peeled for the draw coming up very, very shortly. And like I said earlier on, we have the Nigerian match between Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire aired here on the big screen. We have the Veuve Clicquot marquee also activated. So those of you that have bought tickets for the marquee, the Veuve Clicquot marquee to the right of the commentary box.